Well, as we mentioned his name, New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet, of course, about to announce the new roads, but he's still facing criticism over the crisis of wearing the Nazi uniform at his 21st birthday. He's since apologised. Joining me to chat about that and plenty more, founder of Small Business Women Australia, Amanda Rose. Amanda, no wonder they're announcing the new roads.
Yes, well, good distraction, right? Which, look, let's face it, we all did stupid things when we were 21 years old, and I think we need to let it go and move on. We should actually be analysing what he's done while he's been leader. So the promise of the roads, for example, that's great, but isn't that what our taxes are for anyway? So it shouldn't be an election promise or something to get us across a line. It should be something that should have been delivered the second the roads needed it, and not used as a distraction. So,
but I can see how people are up in arms about it,
yes,
particularly the Jewish community.
Yep.
I think back in my 21st birthday, and I spoke to Peter McGoran about this earlier, it was a lot longer ago than his was. But would you ever do it?
Oh, goodness, if I did that, my parents would absolutely, even if it came across as an idea, would destroy me for doing it because of the disrespect. So that's one issue, the fact that it was comfortable and okay in the world he was raised to do that. Secondly is, well, he apologised, which, you know, I give everyone massive credit to repent and apologise. But more concerningly, it was someone within his own cabinet that was blackmailing him. Now, what does that say about our leadership in general? I mean, I personally think that's extremely vile to be able to blackmail a leader or someone right before an election, you know, to disrupt things when really we need you to lead.
Meanwhile, they're gone, aren't they, really? You think that, I mean, it's unpredictable, obviously. Politics is unpredictable, but Chris Minns was just tapping that soccer ball on the end of his foot yesterday, not reacting too much, and he is just holding the middle ground.
Well, exactly. Sometimes you just let them go and they'll hang themselves, right? So, look, it's a bit of a mess, and most political parties are run by factions, so it's usually a factional war of who they want to lead. It has nothing to do with who is right to lead and what the people need.
Now, you're out there a lot talking to people, particularly women in business. Do people know who their MPs are?
No. Well, some do, right? And to be honest, I didn't know much about politics till my late 20s, early 30s because I didn't really care. But part of a survey that Western Sydney Women are doing, which we're announcing on International Women's Day at our Future of Women Summit, is what do women want and who they're voting for. And we asked, do you know who your local MP is? And 30% said, I don't. Now, that is huge. So that's a reflection of our current state members not working with the community and being grassroots enough and communicating and assisting them. That is actually a bad sign. That's their job.
And there was a time where they go around knocking on everyone's door.
Yes. Look, there are some out there which I absolutely love, and it doesn't matter which side of the fence or on which party they represent, and they genuinely care, and that is why it's important to go and find out who actually cares about you and your community rather than who's just trying to get into politics for power. One
thing that we've realised, if we hadn't realised it earlier, happiness is so important, regardless of what you're doing or where you are or how old you are. COVID you've got to strive to be happy. Now, you've seen an article here where there are some jobs which are worse for people's mental health. Yes,
and would you believe it? One of the top is construction. And I think that's because we've had culturally, you know, generations where you weren't allowed to speak up or say I'm overworked or I'm stressed. And there is a lot of bullying that happens on construction sites. And men have been told, you know, just to suck it up instead of actually, no, this is not right. So they're starting to slowly implement changes. And the thing is, this is so important, not only because often men personally are kind of just ignored. You're tough, you can handle it, when really, no, they're humans and they need to be respected and heard. But also, if you want to start getting women into the construction industry, you've got to fix that first before you then invite an 18-year-old or 20-year-old girl and to say, like, would you like to get an apprenticeship as, you know, a carpenter and come into this industry where it's number one with mental health issues.
What about bullying, while we talk a bit about bullying? And what about woman to woman? You know what I mean? Like senior women.
Yep.
How should young people handle that?
I always say, look, it's going to happen. So male or female, you're going to either be bullied, flattered, manipulated. Something will happen to you in your time. Learning how to respond to that is key. So finding a mentor, I usually like to say find a male and a female mentor, someone that you trust, that you admire, and you like how they handle things, and use them to go and ask questions. How do I handle this situation? What do I do here? Don't think you're alone. A lot of people think they're totally isolated, and you're not. It doesn't have to be in the same organisation, can be somewhere else. But having that wisdom, we're not doing enough of that. We're not doing that generational sharing. Instead, they're turning people against generations instead of actually let's work together.
Yeah, we still see too much of it, don't we?
Yeah.
There's got to be a zero tolerance policy on it. When I grew up in the wild times at work, you know, it was rampant, but it's still around.
Now it's passive aggressive. So the bullying is kind of hidden under passive aggressive emails and a lot of flattery disguises it. And it's really, I think it's childish and ridiculous, and it's usually someone who's threatened by you. So see it as a blessing that you're obviously doing something well, but you shouldn't have to put up with it. So you definitely get a mentor.
You're reading Prince Harry's book?
Absolutely not.
I couldn't believe it this morning. It is the #1 non-fiction
It's called
book.
Spare, and I think they're saying, spare me, give me a break.
We spoke to our royal contributor this morning who said it should be called Whinge, so just off its head. Look, always good to chat.
Thank you.